Um, First of all, I'm not going to name people individually because I will forget somebody and that would be just awful. But you know who you are, and gratitude that we have as a family for everything that you have done. Not just in recent days, but in the last 7 years. I've had people come up to me, and I don't know who they are, and they've asked me, "How is your father?" And every time somebody has done that, or every time an acquaintance who I don't know too well has done that, it has helped carry me. Because despite what the doctors tell you, you always have hope that miracles happen. And in our case, many, many miracles did happen because we had my dad for 7 more years. Kari, your song about these last moments, you've heard that my dad is a military man. And my brother and I are children of that military man. And part of our upbringing was saving those 5 cents here and those 5 cents there. And when I think back to my childhood, there's a lot of precision in our childhood. But what is more prominent is how blessed my brother and I have been by the love. There are too many children in this world who don't have love and support from their parents. And we have had that unconditionally and in such large quantities. It's unfathomable to many, many people. On Monday, I got real with Dad, and I said to him, "I need to tell you, while we can, we're going to be real about what's going on." And I told him that he was my hero. He's always been my hero. I sang a song really, really badly at their wedding anniversary 15 years ago, how my parents are my heroes. And to this day, I had to tell my dad that he was still my hero. But I asked him, while we still had this time, I said, "I need you to share with me anything that you still want to say to me, because I'm still learning. I've got many, many lessons still to learn in this life, and I need you to talk to me and to tell me what it is. Anything that you want to still tell me." And he said, "Well, I will listen. I might not answer you." So I rambled, gushed, which I do really well, amidst lots and lots of tears. And I said, when I left him that day, "Tonight when you're lying and you can't sleep and you're thinking about things, I need some pearls of wisdom." And then the next day, Tuesday, he was so lucid, so communicative, so with it. And I had a very, very busy day. And I said to him, "I'm coming back later. Have you thought of any pearls of wisdom?" And he said to me, "I have, but I can't tell you now." The next day was Wednesday, and things suddenly went really downhill. One of the last, when we were in the hospital, I asked him, I said, "Dad, those pearls of wisdom, I need you to tell me, I need you to share with me what you still want to tell me." And he managed one word before he couldn't talk anymore, and that word was always. So I've been thinking a great deal about what my dad would say that would start with always. And you all know Dad in the community way. So I wanted to tell you that my dad would always say, "Always use a knife to crack open an egg." Which Mum and I have been ignoring for many, many years. And he still, use a knife. Always use a knife. Always keep your workspace tidy. Always have a tidy garage. Who has a tidy garage? My dad. Always have a container for odd nails. We have nails that started out in Holland, that have gone to England, went back to Holland, and have now come to South Africa, because you never know when you need that hook or that nail. And I went through these type of things, and I was greatly amused by them, because it shows that I know my dad. And as Dr. Huff said to me, when I said to him, my dad said always, but I didn't get anything else. He said he didn't need to say anything else to you, because you know your father, and you know in any situation what he would be saying to you. When I was a student, and this leads to the last and the most prominent always. When I was a student in Holland, I was chatting to a friend of a friend one evening in the town, and he could hear, I hadn't been speaking Dutch for so long, and he could hear that I had I wasn't first language Dutch. But I told him that I have a Dutch father, and so he asked me what my surname was, and I said, well, Kokhuis. And he said, I know a Kokhuis, Michael Kokhuis. And I said, well, yeah, dat is mijn vader. That's my dad. And he said, I did my internship under your father. He was studying electrical engineering. And he said, it was a year before or 2 years prior to that, and he said, your dad gave me the most important life lesson. He said, I have never stopped admiring your dad. He said, I couldn't have had a better mentor. He said, when we would enter Berg Electronics, which was the company, he said, it didn't matter whether it was the receptionist, whether it was the cleaner, whether it was somebody working on the factory floor. Your father greeted and respected every single person and gave every single person the time of his day, which he didn't have to do. And he said, and your father sits back in meetings and he listens. And he lets everybody sort their shit out. And the squabbling goes on. And then, when everybody's spoken, because everybody has to speak, he will say what he needs to say. And it's short, krachtig, powerful, to the point, and you can very rarely disagree with what he's got to say. And I can't remember this guy's name, I can't barely remember what he looks like, but I've never ever forgotten that. And that was a huge, huge inspiration in when I've looked at myself as a person and the type of person that I want to be. And because I wasn't with mum and dad for several years, I was alone here in South Africa, I got to re-know my parents when they moved here. And I've watched Dad in the community of Hout Bay. And true to God, it doesn't matter who you are, where you come from, what your background is, what your level is in society, where you work, what you do. He has the time of day and respects every single person. So my last always is always listen first. And really, really listen. And just think before you speak, because that's my father. And there is one last always, which I was meant to say earlier. Love yourself. Because if you don't love yourself, you can't be there for other people. And he always says to us as a family, love yourself and love each other. I couldn't ask for a more loving and more amazing father. And I'm so proud to be his daughter.